Emily had always been the kind of person who saw beyond appearances. She carried a warmth that made people feel safe, and a courage that often surprised those around her. When she announced that she was going to marry Daniel, the news spread quickly among friends and family. Daniel was a gentle, intelligent man, but he had been confined to a wheelchair ever since an accident had taken away his ability to walk. At first, people thought Emily's decision came from pity, but she quickly proved them wrong. Her smile carried no hesitation, and her voice trembled with passion as she said, "Love isn't about perfection, it's about the heart." Those words silenced some, but not all. Whispers lingered in the background, laced with doubt and judgment. Her parents worried about the hardships she might face. Friends questioned whether she was making a mistake, marrying a man who could never dance with her or chase after their children. But Emily only saw Daniel. The way his eyes lit up when he laughed, the depth of his kindness, and the strength he carried in silence. For Emily, love was never measured by physical ability. She believed Daniel's spirit was stronger than any limitation, and she wanted to spend her life proving that real love could outshine society's narrow expectations. While others hesitated, Emily's heart was certain. She wasn't walking into a sacrifice, she was walking into the most genuine love she had ever known. And in her certainty, Daniel found hope again. The day of the wedding arrived, and the church was filled with both excitement and quiet judgment. Rows of guests sat dressed in their best, yet their eyes carried mixed emotions. Some admired Emily's bravery, while others whispered, wondering why such a bright, beautiful young woman would choose this path. At the front, Daniel sat in his wheelchair, dressed in a perfectly tailored suit. His hands trembled slightly as he adjusted his tie, his face a blend of joy and nerves. He had dreamed of this moment, yet a fear lingered deep inside. Would Emily regret her choice one day? Then, the music began. All eyes turned as Emily entered, her white gown flowing gracefully as she stepped forward. Her smile shone brighter than the stained glass windows above, her eyes fixed on Daniel, as though no one else existed. Each step she took silenced a little more of the murmurs in the crowd. She wasn't walking toward pity or sacrifice, she was walking toward the man she loved. Daniel's eyes grew wet as she drew closer, her unwavering joy washing away some of his doubts. In that moment, Emily didn't just see him sitting in a chair, she saw the man who had made her laugh on her worst days, who listened when no one else cared, and who loved her with a sincerity that the world often overlooked. As she reached him at the altar, their hands met, and the church fell silent. What everyone witnessed wasn't a compromise, it was love in its purest form. As the ceremony moved forward, the atmosphere inside the church grew heavier. The priest's words echoed softly, yet in the silence between, unspoken doubt seemed to hang in the air. Emily's parents exchanged uneasy glances, their faces marked with quiet worry. They loved their daughter deeply, but the thought of her future weighed heavily on their hearts. Would she be burdened with responsibilities too great to bear? Would her happiness fade once the challenges became real? Daniel felt the tension. He noticed the hesitation in the eyes of a few guests, and it pierced him more than the years he had spent in his wheelchair. He lowered his gaze, gripping the armrest of his chair tightly, afraid that, deep down, Emily might one day feel the same regret others expected her to. The vows they were about to take carried more than promises. They carried the weight of judgment from a world that often measured love by appearances and convenience. When it was Emily's turn to speak, she looked at Daniel with unwavering devotion. Her voice was steady, filled with warmth as she declared, "I choose you, in weakness and in strength, in every moment life gives us." Her words echoed with such conviction that even some skeptics in the audience shifted uncomfortably, realizing the depth of her sincerity. Yet beneath the surface, Daniel's heart pounded. He wanted nothing more than to prove to Emily, and to everyone, that he was more than his chair. And soon, he knew, the moment would come. Just as the priest prepared to give the final blessing, a quiet stir rippled through the church. Daniel's hands, which had been resting nervously on his wheelchair, gripped the armrests with unusual determination. His chest rose and fell quickly as if he were gathering every ounce of strength inside him. Emily looked at him with gentle concern, whispering his name, but Daniel only gave her a reassuring smile. The crowd grew still as Daniel shifted forward, planting his feet firmly on the ground. Slowly, painfully, he pushed against the armrests and began to rise. Gasps filled the room. For months, in secret, he had been undergoing grueling therapy, enduring pain and setbacks without telling Emily. He had wanted this moment to be his gift to her, the chance to stand beside her as her husband, not just a man confined to a chair. His legs trembled violently, sweat forming on his brow, but he stood tall, fighting through the weakness that had once defined his life. Emily's eyes overflowed with tears, her hands covering her mouth in shock. With unsteady steps, Daniel moved toward her, each one more difficult than the last, but each filled with determination. The church erupted in awe, many guests now openly crying. For the first time in years, Daniel stood on his own 2 feet, not for himself, but for love. Emily rushed forward, steadying him with trembling hands, whispering through her tears, "You didn't need to do this for me, but it means everything." Emily's arms wrapped around Daniel as he stood trembling, his body weak but his spirit stronger than ever. The guests, who only moments before carried doubts and whispers, now rose to their feet in thunderous applause. Some wept openly, moved by the sight of a love that had defied every expectation. Daniel leaned against Emily, his voice breaking as he whispered, "I just wanted to show you that I'll always stand for you, even if I fall again tomorrow." His words pierced through the room, silencing every last doubt. Emily shook her head gently, tears shining in her eyes, and replied, "I never needed you to stand. I only ever needed you to love me." In that instant, the weight of judgment lifted. Her parents, once filled with quiet fear, looked on with pride, realizing that their daughter had chosen not sacrifice, but strength, love in its truest form. Friends who had doubted found themselves inspired, ashamed of their earlier thoughts. The ceremony ended not with pity, but with celebration. Emily and Daniel's kiss was greeted with claps, cheers, and the kind of joy that no obstacle could diminish. The story of their wedding spread far beyond those walls, reminding everyone who heard it that love is not defined by appearances, but by devotion, sacrifice, and hope. That day, Daniel gave Emily the surprise of his life, but Emily gave Daniel something far greater, unshakable belief in a love that could carry them through anything. Together, they walked into their future, hearts forever bound.